Local 4 News begins right now with a breaking news alert.
Two big stories on this massive news day. 5 people, including the head of the state health department, charged with involuntary manslaughter in the Flint water crisis.
This is about accountability, and this is about trust, and it's about restoring accountability and trust to the families of Flint.
But first, tragedy near Washington. A gunman opens fire on a group of congressmen practicing for a charity baseball game. A GOP leader injured, and a Michigan native caught in the crossfire.
And you are looking at brand new video just released. It shows the shooter, James Hodgkinson, firing his gun for 5 full minutes until Capitol Police were able to neutralize him. Hodgkinson has died from his injuries.
And let's take a live look now, Kim, at the ball field. A much different scene tonight as police continue to search for why all of this happened. We're glad you're with us for Local 4 News at 5. I'm Devin Skillion.
And I'm Kimberly Gill, live in Washington, D.C., as the city is reeling after this morning's attack at a baseball diamond right across the river from me here at the Capitol in Alexandria, Virginia. That's where a group of Republican congressmen were practicing for a charity baseball game. I just caught up with Representative Mike Bishop, who was at the practice this morning. We'll hear from him coming up in just a moment. But first, we want to start our coverage with Jay Gray. He is in Alexandria tonight with more. Jay?
Good evening. The FBI now the lead agency in this investigation. You see some of their equipment just over our shoulder here. It's an investigation that is expanding not only here at the scene, but now also at the suspect's home in Illinois. Just after 7 this morning, the rattle of gunfire replaces the crack of a bat.
Shots being fired, and there are people running, possibly victims involved.
An attack on Republican congressmen as they practice for a charity baseball game.
We were doing batting practice, and all of a sudden we heard shots, and it was clear pretty quickly that there was a shooter there with a high-powered rifle.
Police say that shooter was 66-year-old James T. Hodgkinson, a man with a violent criminal history. Witnesses say he sprayed the field with bullets, firing dozens of rounds.
He was crouched behind a wooden piece of the stands, and he had a AK-47.
At least 5 people were hit.
We have another one down. I think it was a total of 5 down. We will need another back.
Among the wounded, House Majority Whip Steve Scalise. As a member of congressional leadership, he had a security detail, Capitol Police, who rushed in, engaged in a firefight that lasted several minutes.
The security detail saved a lot of lives.
Hodgkinson died as a result of wounds from the gun battle. Federal agents are now searching his home in Belleville, Illinois, and remain at the scene of the attack, trying to piece together how and why it happened. Now, as the investigation continues, we've also learned from congressional leaders that charity baseball game between the Republicans and Democrats, it will continue as well. They'll play tomorrow night at Nationals Park. In Alexandria, Virginia, Jay Gray, Local 4.
Okay, Jay, thank you for that report. As I mentioned earlier, I spoke with Representative Mike Bishop. As you know, he represents parts of Livingston and Oakland counties, and he spoke with me. He was at the practice, and he saw everything that happened. He described the feeling as feeling like sitting ducks. Here's a portion of that interview from earlier. Congressman, you've had a few hours to kind of digest what has happened. How are you doing, and just what's going through your mind right now?
Well, I am very concerned about my friends and colleagues who were victims today. That's my greatest concern. I'm also very grateful to the Capitol Police for their heroics today. We would not be here. I would not be here today if it had not been for them. Incredible what they did today.
One of the victims was Oakland County native Matt Micah. He's a Tyson lobbyist. You saw what happened to him. Can you describe what you saw?
Well, he was gravely injured, chest wound.
How many times was he shot? Do you have any idea?
Multiple times. I don't know, and I'm not sure what the nature of the injury is precisely, but I do know that he's in surgery right now, and he's still in very critical condition. We're watching and waiting
to hear.
So where were you standing in all of this? So the gunman was closer to home plate then, or?
Third base.
Third base, okay.
Right directly along the fence line. I was at home plate, as were many of us, because we were going to batting practice. There were some folks in the infield as well. I believe he fired at the third baseman and missed. He was so close, I don't know how he missed, but he did.
And the person who was at third base?
Trent Kelly, member from Mississippi. And I saw Trent coming running over, and he yelled shooter, and everybody hit the deck, knowing just in complete confusion at that point, because why in the world we're playing in a charity baseball game at 7 o'clock in the morning? Who would have ever thought? And we're blessed, quite blessed to be here today. I cannot say enough good about, be more effusive in my support for the Capitol Police and what they did. If they hadn't come in when they came in, we would have had no chance. We were sitting ducks and we had no cover whatsoever. And they came into that scenario with just their handguns and knew full well that they were putting themselves in harm's way. But they gave us that moment of cover so that we could seek shelter.
Okay, we want to get back to Metro Detroit right now, and Rod Maloney, he's been getting details on the lobbyist that was injured in the shooting. His name's Matt Micah. He's an Oakland County native, and everybody here has nothing but good to say about him. Rod?
Yeah, that's right, Kimberly. He grew up in Southfield. He went to Southfield Lathrop High School. He then graduated, went on to Adrian College, studied, ironically, law enforcement, political science. And everything we heard about him today says that he was not only that guy that makes everybody feel good, but the kind of guy you just want to go out and have a beer with.
Of course, we're very concerned about him.
Margie Mason of Southfield couldn't believe her eyes and ears this morning when she learned that Matt Micah, a young man she's known most of his life, took several bullets in the chest on that Arlington, Virginia ball field. He lived in this house across the street from her on Spring Hill in Southfield. He babysat her children and delivered a cake to her as a welcome gift when she moved to the neighborhood 30 years ago.
And it really demonstrates the kindness of their family, and he comes from a family of 3 children, and they're all brilliant and just a very, very wonderful family.
Later, Matt worked as a congressional staffer to 2 Michigan congressmen, Camp and Wahlberg, and in Lansing before that. They put out statements saying they're all praying for him tonight. For the past 6 years, Matt has worked as a lobbyist for the Tyson Food Company in Washington, D.C. Well-known governmental affairs staffer Mickey Blashfield befriended Matt at the Mackinac Conference years ago and told Local 4 News he couldn't believe it when his friend Matt turned up in surgery after the shooting.
He absolutely is a hard worker, and it didn't surprise me that he was there at the crack of dawn this morning with a baseball game with some colleagues. He was probably the one bringing some coffee and bagels along as well, too.
Now, he is listed in critical condition this afternoon after his surgery. It could be 3, maybe 4, even 5 gunshot wounds to the chest, and we're still going to wait to see what his prognosis is. His friends say that he was a very good baseball player. He is a very good baseball player. That's why he was there. He thoroughly enjoyed being with the team and wanted to be there, and they clearly have many prayers going out for him tonight. Back to you, Dad.
It's got to be a horrendous time for his family, Rod. Have we heard from them?
Yes, we attempted to reach out to the family, and they are put out a statement this afternoon. They have jetted to Washington, D.C. Yeah. They are there to be by his side, and again, they are praying with him and hoping that he can recover as well, sir.
Yeah, we are too. All right, Rod. In fact, we will update his condition as we learn more, and our coverage will continue on this tragedy both on air and online at clickondetroit.com. We've got updates by the minute to this breaking story there, and you can find all of the links right there in the top stories section. All right, now to the other big breaking story we're following today, and that comes to us from Flint.
5 officials, including the head of the Michigan Health Department, have been charged with involuntary manslaughter. The charges stem from the Legionnaires' outbreak connected to the water crisis, specifically the death of an 85-year-old man who contracted the disease. Defender Kevin Dietz is in Flint tonight with details on who's facing these very serious charges. Kevin.
That's right, Karen, and things are getting very tense between the governor's office and the attorney general's office. Today, two of the governor's key players in the Flint water crisis were charged with very serious crimes. Normally, that might mean you'd get fired, but not in this case. The governor is not giving much credibility to the attorney general's charges. He's sticking by his employees. Investigators stood before the media announcing serious criminal charges, saying the people of Flint were violated, that officials paid to protect citizens allowed men, women, and children to be poisoned with lead and Legionella.
There are two types of people in this world, those that give a damn and those that don't. But this is a case where there's been a willful disregard of just using ordinary due diligence and care.
Charged today with involuntary manslaughter, Nick Lyon, director of Michigan's Department of Health and Human Services. Investigators allege he recklessly caused death by failing to warn the public of possible Legionella associated with the Flint water supply.
People didn't just make mistakes. The people willfully or intentionally failed to do what they were supposed to do. And people were hurt. People died.
Also charged, Eden Wells, the state's chief medical officer, with obstruction of justice and lying to investigators. 4 others had lesser charges increased to involuntary manslaughter. Stephen Bush and Lane Schechter-Smith, formerly of the MDEQ, Howard Croft of Flint Public Works, and Darnell Early, the former emergency financial manager. As for the governor of Michigan, Rick Snyder, he is dodging investigators.
We attempted to interview the governor. We were not successful.
But the governor clearly doesn't have much confidence in the attorney general's investigation because today he spoke out and he's standing by his employees.
Director Lyon and Dr. Eden Wells, like every other person who has been charged with a crime by Bill Schuette, is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Some state employees were charged over a year ago and have been suspended from work since that time. They still have not had their day in court. That is not justice for Flint or for those who have been charged. Nick Lyon and Dr. Wells have been and continue to be fully committed to Flint's recovery. They have my full faith and confidence and will remain on duty at DHHS.
Coming up at 6 o'clock, I sit down one-on-one with Bill Schuette and ask him the questions that are on your mind. Is this investigation about politics or the people of Flint? That's coming up at 6. Kevin Dietz, Defenders.
New at 5, a 4th person is now facing charges in the federal female genital mutilation case.
48-year-old Tashera Shafiq of Northville, charged with conspiracy to commit female genital mutilation and also with aiding and abetting. She's accused of being at that Livonia clinic back in February when Dr. Jumana Nargawala performed the illegal procedure on at least 2 girls. We're following another tragedy occurring today, this one on the West Coast, San Francisco.
New tonight, what police are saying after a man walked into a UPS facility and opened fire. Doc.
Families that never worried about ticks before are suddenly finding them on their kids, their pets, and themselves. See where ticks are showing up in the suburbs and the message affected families want you to hear.
And if thunderstorms show up tonight, there is a possibility those could be severe, but it is a big if. We'll look at the likelihood of seeing storms coming up.
A construction worker suffers a very serious fall on the site right behind me. We'll tell you why it was very beneficial that it happened here and tell you how he's doing right after the break.
Tonight, new at 6.
A local business puts out a sign telling people not to give money to a panhandler. The reason why they're singling him out. New at 6.
Also, a new twist in the disturbing case of a violent purse snatching in a Kroger parking lot. At 6 o'clock, what police are now telling us about the suspect that we see in this video. All right, now to a dramatic rescue today in Farmington Hills.
Check out this video from Sky 4 as crews work to get an injured construction worker at Beaumont Hospital in Farmington Hills to safety. Let's get to Jason Colthorpe. He is live tonight. So, Jason, any word on exactly what happened here?
Yeah, Karen, that construction worker actually fell about 20 feet off some scaffolding. It was at the construction site that's right behind me at the end of the road here. And as soon as he fell, the rescue immediately began, and that's why it was a good thing the hospital is only just a few feet away. The call went out just before 1:30. A construction worker had fallen at Beaumont Hospital's Botsford campus.
On our arrival, we found a construction worker that had fallen just about 20 feet into a pit area.
At that point, one of the biggest advantages for rescuers was the hospital was just 100 feet away.
Our trauma surgeon went right to the scene. I went right to the scene, so we were right there to try to help this individual in any way that we could.
We thought we'd try to lend any hand we could right at the scene, although Farmington Hills Fire was in charge at that time.
And that first golden hour is really important with regards to trauma. So the fact that he was here, yes, was a very good thing.
Well, it's great that it's that close. Again, we don't lose time in terms of transport. And we're able to attend to him right away.
Rescuers carefully spent 25 minutes giving him 2 IVs and pain meds for his injured chest and legs.
At this time, he was talking to our paramedics and responding well, moving all extremities. So it was a real positive environment that our paramedics were working under with him.
Firefighters eventually used the crane on site to help raise him out in a basket.
I seen a lot of clapping when he didn't come out, and when you see a little movement of somebody when they're coming out of there, it makes you feel a lot better.
Yeah, it certainly does. Here's what we know about that worker. He was working actually for the subcontractor under Barton Malow. He's a veteran worker. We believe he's a foreman working on this job, so not a rookie, not an apprentice. A lot of experience, and we don't have an official condition for him tonight, but obviously signs are pointing to things looking pretty good. We're in Farmington Hills tonight. Jason Colthorpe, Local 4.
All right, Jason.
Talk about quick reaction.
Yeah. We had a strange weather day. Some people saw some crazy rainfall, and other people got nothing.
I was on a story where it was like totally storming, and I was going to go shoot something outside, and then 5 miles down the road, it was perfect.
Yeah. Didn't last very long. I drove through one of those, swore I heard a gospel choir in my back seat. Probably just Spotify it. We were happy to see the rain nonetheless, and we could be seeing a little bit more of it tonight, but 4 Live Radar has nothing but radar trash out there right now. False echoes there near the site, but there is activity down here to the southwest and some potent stuff too. That orange box is a severe thunderstorm warning right now in western Indiana, and you can tell by the orientation of that box, this is the direction that we expect these storms to go. But I'll tell you, nothing's really had much luck developing in the last couple hours here, at least across southern Michigan. So we're kind of in a wait and see mode as we go forward. If, and this is a big if these storms develop, the biggest threat is going to be from the amount of lightning with those storms and also from the intense rainfall, because there's not a lot of wind to push these things along. They're only going to be sort of crawling at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. And if you ran through a couple of those downpours today, you know what we're talking about. Temperatures outside right now are in the low to mid 80s, but it's pretty humid, noticeably humid down here in our west and south zones, with those dew points now above 65 degrees. In fact, it's 70 down here in Adrian. So a little bit of a soupy atmosphere for these storms to work with. Instability is not going to be the problem, but notice how the model is splitting these storms. Some of them going north of us and some of them going south and keeping us dry. So again, that's another reason we're in a wait and see mode. Chances do get a little bit better tomorrow afternoon as we get temperatures just a little bit hotter in the afternoon as to seeing some of those scattered storms, but they will be weaker if they show up tomorrow. And we're keeping thunderstorm chances around all the way through the 7-day forecast, at least into Monday of next week. But there's still a chance that some of us could end up completely dry, because not all of us are going to get wet. Temperatures going from 68 tonight, and let's look at high temperatures in our 4-zone forecast. Just a few degrees warmer tomorrow as we get to 87 here in our metro zone, and there's not going to be a whole lot of difference across our zones. 87, 88 once you get south of Michigan Avenue. West zone generally in the mid 80s tomorrow, and Lake Huron really not going to cool things down for our north zone. Still in the 80s, 83 in Lexington, 84 in Port Huron, and most of the zone will be in the 80s. We'll get back to 90, at least touch that mark on Friday and Saturday. So our last few days of summer or spring are going to feel like summer.
Yeah.
And then when we go to summer next week, it's going to feel like spring.
We're all discombobulated.
All over.
That's all it is.
Michigan. Thank you, Ben. A massive apartment tower in London destroyed by fire. New at 5, what rescuers are up against as they desperately search for survivors. Doc.
Ticks in the suburbs showing up in places where people never had to worry before. Coming up, see where they're moving and how local families are being affected.
Looking to make
Good Health Today tracking ticks from the backwoods to your backyard.
All day long, our Dr. Frank McGeorge has been taking a look at really this growing problem. He's back with a look at how ticks are impacting local families.
Exactly, Karen and Devin. You know, many families who never worried about ticks before are suddenly finding them on their kids, their pets, and themselves. And some of those ticks are carrying Lyme disease. Now, these families want to warn others that ticks are a risk even in the suburbs.
How's that?
A little down.
It was after playing outside in their Rochester Hills backyard last spring that the Allen family noticed something was wrong with their son Cooper.
At bedtime, my husband called up for me, so I went up there and he said, Cooper's got a bump on his head.
Hidden in Cooper's hair,
It was a little black bug.
they pulled it out and contacted their pediatrician.
We were freaking out because you hear terrible things about ticks and Lyme's disease.
Because the tick was removed so quickly, Cooper was just fine, but some families haven't been as lucky.
We got a phone call from our vet who said that she tested positive for Lyme disease.
It was a routine blood test that revealed the Dressler's dog Maisie was suffering from Lyme disease. They never saw the tick that bit her.
You hear about the ticks being in rural areas, farmland, tall grass, and us being in the city, I guess maybe we've been a little naive to the fact that they're now migrating into all areas.
It's just not up north in Michigan, it's down here in Farmington Hills that, you really got to be diligent and watch.
They immediately emailed their neighbors. They've started wearing tick repellent and checking themselves in Maisie for ticks.
The kids are still going to play outside. We're just going to have to be more vigilant.
It's a warning echoed by the Allens.
I just thank God every day that my husband patted his head for bed, because if we wouldn't have noticed it and it would have burrowed, it could have been much different. Ticks are everywhere. I grew up my whole life and never saw one, and we camped and we ran around in the woods and we did all those things, and I'd never seen one before. There are more places than we think, and just to, be cautious. Don't be crazy, but be cautious. Just always check.
Now, Maisie is under a vet's care, and it's still not clear how seriously she's affected. It's important to stress, though, there are different types of ticks in Michigan. It's the black leg tick, also known as the deer tick, that can carry Lyme disease. But not every tick does, so there's no need to panic, just be more aware of them in general.
Not every tick, but not every deer tick then necessarily either, right?
Exactly. They don't all have Lyme disease in them.
Now, if I see my child with a tick, I'm going to want to just get it off immediately, but that could be a mistake if you don't do it the right way.
Right. Removing the tick correctly is actually really important, and so you can actually increase your risk of getting sick if you do it wrong. So coming up at 5:30, I'm going to demonstrate the safest technique and take a look at two products, the Tick Spoon and the Tick Twister, to see if they're a good idea or not. And these are actually pretty interesting, and I have an opinion on them. Tick implements, yes.
Tick implements, yeah,
right.
Interesting. All right.
Thank you, Doc.
Sure.
Jason?
New at 5:30.
This is normally where a Jeep Cherokee is parked, but as you can see, gone, stolen.
It wasn't even the best Jeep, but it was like my soul. And these people just come up probably for a crack fix.
We'll tell you why the family could care a lot less about the car than what was inside.
More charges in the ongoing Flint water crisis investigation. What do the people of this community think about this criminal investigation? And should the governor be charged?
And our breaking news coverage from Washington, D.C. continues. Kimberly Gill is there live with an update next at 5:30.
It's dinner time.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Kimberly Gill as we continue to bring you live coverage from Washington, D.C. following this morning's attack on Republican lawmakers during a congressional baseball practice in Alexandria, Virginia. House Majority Whip Steve Scalise was among the 5 people shot. And just give you a little bit of a recap as well as an update. The latest information that we have is that the congressman remains in critical condition after surgery. Oakland County native Matt Micah was also critically injured in that shooting. His family says the Southfield Lathrop High School graduate is now also out of surgery and is in the ICU, and he is expected to remain there for several more days. So right now we are joined by Congresswoman Debbie Dingell. Thank you for being with us today, and we know that you were not at the practice this morning, but nonetheless, this hits home.
It hits home. I was sitting in my office when the first reports came, and I immediately was concerned about, I knew that 3 of my Michigan colleagues were on the team, and were they safe? And your second reaction is, when's this going to stop?
Yeah. So how do you even move forward? I mean, you're a public servant. of course, a public job where people know where you always are. If this happened at a baseball field in the morning at the most innocent of places, this could happen anywhere. How do you move forward with your job and your life?
You have no choice but to continue to move forward. Terrorism wants to disrupt. It wants to make people be afraid. We can't. Each of us needs to take some responsibility. This weekend, I was upset after some pretty not nice postings on my Facebook page because I stated a fact. Dearborn doesn't have Sharia law. We all have to stop letting ourselves be divided by fear and hatred. We have to come together as community. We have to take the time to respect each other, listen to each other. It's okay to disagree, but we've got to take the tone of this rhetoric and dial it down. And remember, we're all Americans.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Did you know Matt Micah, the lobbyist from Tyson, Oakland County native?
He was a Michigan staffer. The kids in my office all knew him. They're pretty rattled.
Your staff, yeah.
My staff. He's a staffer. He worked for Tim Walberg. The young people from Michigan all know each other. They work across the aisle. They don't think of themselves as Republicans or Democrats.
Absolutely.
So we're praying that he's going to be okay.
Absolutely. And finally, the game will be tomorrow, and it's going to be played.
That game is on because we cannot let it disrupt, and we will all be there as Republicans and Democrats coming together, not as Republicans or Democrats, but watching this annual tradition. Rituals and traditions matter, and it's going on tomorrow night.
Absolutely. Thanks for taking your time to talk with us.
Thank you.
All right, we'll send it back to Detroit with Sandra and Devin, guys.
All right, Kim, back to Washington in just a bit.
Here's a look now at some other stories making headlines at this hour, and we begin tonight in San Francisco. That's where UPS now says one of its employees opened fire at a company warehouse, killing 3 people.
Yeah, police say the suspect was armed with an assault pistol when they found him. He then put the weapon to his head and shot himself. 2 additional victims were taken to the hospital. There is still no known motive as the investigation into that shooting continues. On to London, where a fire tears through a high-rise apartment building, killing at least 12 people.
Take a look here. You can see that fire actually engulfed this 24-story apartment tower. The fire lit up the night sky. Black smoke came from the windows. More than 200 firefighters fought this fire. One resident described the chaos after the fire broke out.
I took my daughter and I just ran to the stairs, and soon I ran out. I saw already the fire holding one side, and inside we didn't know what's going on because nothing came inside, and we didn't know, no alarm, no water, nothing.
78 people were hurt, and the number of fatalities we're being told could be on the rise. Jury deliberations continue in the sexual assault trial against Bill Cosby.
Decide what you will about the fact that this is taking quite a while, but this is video of him arriving in court this morning. Deliberations have been pretty slow and clearly painstaking as the panel returned today for the 3rd day of reviewing evidence in the case. If convicted, Cosby could face up to 30 years in prison. Now to the other breaking story we're following, and that's from Flint.
And that's where the state's health director and 4 others have now been charged with involuntary manslaughter in connection with the water crisis. Those charges are in connection to the Legionnaires outbreak in the city that led to 12 deaths. Consumer investigator Hank Winchester live in Flint tonight. And Hank, how are folks there reacting to this?
And Sandra and Devin, we talked to a lot of people today in Flint, and they say they are happy to see these charges today. They believe others should be charged. You can see the Flint River here behind me. The thing that they really want people to remember is that the problems here in Flint are not over. The charges announced here in downtown Flint, and just blocks away at this home, this longtime Flint resident pleased to see a big step forward in the criminal investigation.
About time. We've waited for some type of manslaughter and voluntary manslaughter charges since we found out about the deaths from the Legionnaires.
Lulu Brazel and her daughter Mari, otherwise known as Little Miss Flint, still relying on bottled water. It's stacked up in front of their apartment. While Lulu is glad to see some being held accountable, she believes more leaders need to be charged.
If the evidence proves it, that the governor knew all along, he needs to be charged. Same thing with former Mayor Dan Walling, if he knew.
On the streets of Flint today, news of these charges getting to the people, the ones still dealing with the effects of the water crisis.
I think it's good. Don't let those guys get off the hook, man. That's a terrible thing. That water contaminated, man, for how long?
Well, I drink bottled water. I don't mess with that faucet water or nothing like that. I just start drinking. Still bottled.
While testing does show water quality has improved, the bottom line here, it's still not safe to drink water from the tap. And many here feel like that's been forgotten.
Which is so frustrating because it's still bad. We're still having issues.
Back out here live, another look here at the Flint River. A lot of people that we talk to in town say they are encouraged by this news today. They were happy to see people held accountable. But again, the focus remains on making sure that the water coming out of the tap is safe. And many people also worried that water distribution sites here in Flint could go away. They could vanish sometime this fall. We're live here in downtown Flint. Hank Winchester, back to you.
All right, Hank. Other news today, a barricaded situation in Shelby Township ends with the suspect's arrest. Police responded at 5 o'clock this morning to the Roma Valley Apartments on 22 Mile Road. A man armed with butcher knives broke into his parents' apartment, then threatened to set the complex on fire. That forced residents to evacuate, but the man did surrender, as you see here, nearly 2 hours later.
A Lincoln Park mother in a pretty rough spot after her car is stolen.
And inside that car, a wheelchair for her special needs son. Jason Colthorpe spoke with her today about what happened. Jason?
Devin, this is a single mother of 3. She's been dealing with her son's epilepsy almost his entire life, 23 years. And at this point, she's just hoping whoever did this has a soul and at least gives back the wheelchair.
We have a really special life here. Really hard to keep afloat.
If Tracy Rimka sounds a little out of sorts, it's because she is. Her whole world is taking care of her 25-year-old son, Michael, who has epilepsy.
It's been a long road, and he's been a fighter through it all, and the brain surgery was horrible.
There isn't much Rimka and her 3 kids, plus a grandchild, can do without. Yet Monday night, her 1997 white Jeep Cherokee, partially seen here, was stolen with Michael's vital wheelchair inside.
It was upside down with the big wheels, like they could see it.
It's so important because Michael's seizures can knock him right off of his feet.
You don't even have time to have a seizure, you just drop. Which, if whatever's in the way, you drop onto. So it's deadly. He's broke his neck, even.
He just got 13 stitches out of his forehead from his most recent episode. And without that wheelchair, it's tough to do just about
anything, like walk him around or feel safe. It takes away my security, which is like, each day, is this going to be the head hit that's going to end it all?
Now, Jason, unfortunately, stolen cars don't really have all that great a rate of return, do they?
They really don't, Devin. But in talking to Lincoln Park Police today, they say, you know, they've had some cars turn back up, even with the belongings in there. The way they put it to me, though, is it takes time. So if anybody has any information about this, step up and call Lincoln Park Police if they have any knowledge of this.
One more question. Does she have insurance on it?
She does, actually. She has insurance on the car and everything inside. The problem is the car's not going to be worth a whole lot, and she's not sure what she'll be reimbursed for the wheelchair, and to buy a new one, she's worried could cost up to $1,500, and it's taking some time as well. So each day is a struggle without those things.
Sure is. All right, Jason. Well, now to one of Metro Detroit's biggest summer events, and this year getting even bigger, if that's possible.
That's right. Coming up new here at 5:30, the big announcement today as Arts Beats and Eats marks its 20-year anniversary. Doc?
Well, more ticks are showing up in more places. Coming up, I'll demonstrate the safest way to remove a tick and the mistake that could actually make a tick bite worse.
All right, Frank, but first, we're learning more about all those dead birds near Zug Island. We'll tell you what DNR officials have ruled out next.
A father's gravesite robbed, his family heartbroken.
How low could you be?
But after the local 4 defenders report what happened, the family's cherished reminder of their dad is replaced. The story tomorrow, starting at 5.
Jeopardy!